Welcome back to the Salty Podcast. This is episode 44. Sorry, I have a little glitch here. All right. Before we begin, I ask that you please subscribe, like, and share, and comment live in the chat if you're on YouTube or Facebook. Feel free to ask any questions, and we'll try to answer them live. Tonight, we're diving into an incredible story with Oliver from Sailing Phoenix. Imagine leaving the 9 to 5 grind, buying a sailboat, emptying your 401k, and gearing up for the adventure of a lifetime. That's exactly what Oliver did. With no rules holding him back, Oliver shares how he left an 11-year corporate career to embrace the open seas, chase his dreams, and prepare for a circumnavigation that's just around the corner. So get ready for an inspiring conversation about bold choices, living without limits, and the true meaning of freedom. Let's set sail. Welcome, Oliver.
Hello.
Hey, Oliver. Welcome to the Salty Podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I saw you on, you had some great posts on Instagram, and it was real interesting. Your post said something about what I just said, emptying out the 401k, quitting the job, and getting ready for that circumnavigation, and no rules and all that good stuff. So I can't wait to hear about it. Um, I have I have some questions here to get us started. The
Cool.
first one I have is what inspired you to leave your job and take such a bold leap into the sailing lifestyle?
Uh, well, it's like just a few. The biggest thing that pushed me over the edge to make that leap was so like 3 years ago I found out that I was diagnosed with Klippel-Feil syndrome. So I've for like the past like 6 or 7 years I've had really bad neck pain, and I just had put it off for for like 3 or 4 years, and then finally, I like just because I'm like I don't like to go to the doctor. Nobody does, I guess. And then finally, I went to the doctor, and they took a look at my X-rays, and it turns out I've got my spine is like compared to somebody who's over like 115 years old, or my
Wow.
cervical spine. So that was like literally turned my world like upside down and
Right.
flipped it around, and it so then like I had like the following 2.5 years where I just had like I don't know, life kind of like hit me in the face, and I was working at a corporate job that I absolutely hated, and wanted I didn't know how to find my way out. I didn't know what it was, what that looked like. So I had spent like 2.5 years just like fighting and grinding to find a way out. And I don't know why it took me so long to, because sailing around the world's always been like a dream, and it's always been a dream of mine. And but it's been a far off dream, like a dream that'll never happen. It's not possible. I can't do it. It's
Right.
just been like one of those things that you kind of like fantasize about. But and it took me forever to come to that conclusion. But finally, I did. I came to that conclusion that I
Okay.
wanted to do that. And
Well,
there's
we
yeah. Sorry, go
well
ahead.
we have a comment here on the screen. This is Hayden and Radine, who I had on last week. Living the dream. Congrats. Those are some real salty sailors right there. So,
Cool.
uh,
Thank you.
so there. And over on Instagram, which won't show up here. Oh, that's a good kitty right there.
Yeah, she's great.
Jennifer Cullen, a friend of mine from Kauai, I can't make it show up here, but she's saying, "Warmest aloha from Kauai, dear Tinsley." So I wanted to say hey to Jennifer there.
Cool.
But so you're back. That's interesting that you have this issue with your back, and you chose to move forward with the sailing. That's
Yeah, well, it just I don't have
admirable. A lot of
time.
people would
Like
have let that, just stop them.
it did for like 2 years. I went in down I spiraled into just like a super dark place. And
Right.
I don't know. It's just I think it saved my life. Like without it, I think I would have woken up when I was, maybe would have had this realization when I'm 55, 60 years old. You know what I mean? Where it becomes less and less of a reality, sailing around the world or chasing your dreams. And I feel super fortunate that it happened to me now.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 28.
Okay, awesome. Awesome age.
Yeah, if you asked me earlier today, I would have said 27 because that's what I told someone earlier today. I forgot.
You just had a birthday, or?
No, I forgot my age.
Oh,
I thought I
okay.
was struggling to walk around thinking I'm 27. But
Fresh to Salty says evening. They've been on the
hey,
podcast.
cool.
So, that's great. That's, you know, that's kind of similar to what I'm going through, kind of a dark period, losing my husband, and here we are talking about sailing. So I appreciate you coming on and helping me get out of that. So thank you. And I think that's a big inspiration to people, what you're doing. Regardless of you've got this issue, you decided to move forward. That's admirable.
I appreciate that, and thanks for having me on again.
Yes, thank you for coming on. Can you walk us through the moment you decided to empty out your 401k? That
Yeah,
sounds a little scary.
well, I had I worked at Discount Tire for 11 years, and worked my way up the ranks, and stacking up my 401k, and so what happened there was, I came to this conclusion literally in a day. Like it was one day where I decided I was gonna quit my job, and I wanted to sail around. What it was I was talking to a really close friend of mine, and she was helping me try and figure out how to how to move forward, and
Oh, nice.
she I was in the bathroom at work, and she texted me, and we were texting, and she was like, what is it you've always wanted to do? And I was like, oh, well, I've always wanted to sail around the world. And she was like, okay, why don't you do that? And at the time I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I come out of the bathroom, and I go to help the very next customer that's in line. And he comes up to me, and he's wearing a jacket that has a sailboat on it. And I was like, oh, you sailed? And he was like, no, I used to build boats. I was like, oh, that's super cool. My dream is to sail around the world. And he was like, and this guy's like 90 years old, and he kind of like stops, and he looks around, and he looks at me, and he goes, what are you doing here? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I
Yeah.
don't know why that it just hit. And then, so then my brother convinced me to, so at that point I was like, so I quit the very next week after having that conversation with him, with the full
Oh,
plan to buy a sailboat and sail around the world, not knowing that I was going to chase that dream, you know, up until like 5 minutes prior to that moment. And so my brother convinced me to start making these little videos. And so I started making these little videos of this process, because I had to offload cars, I had to get rid of my stuff, I had to start looking for a boat, I had to do all this stuff. And um, my plan, I wasn't ever going to post anything. I was going to start just stacking a bunch of videos, and then at some point when I'm ready, start to release them. And I've never used like social media platforms ever up until
yeah.
7 months ago. And so I was using TikTok, and I didn't know how it worked. And I made a video where I'm just like, I'm in my Discount Tire uniform in my car, and I'm saying all this crazy stuff. Like, I was like, because I was just totally going all in. And I was like, yeah, I spent, a bunch of money on drugs. I'm in debt. And, I hate my job. I'm going to buy a boat. And I'm totally sounding like a complete lunatic. And
Right.
I accidentally posted it, and it went uh, flying around the
On
corporate.
TikTok? Oh,
It
on
went
the
flying
corporate.
around, yeah, within my company. So like my AVP at the time was scrolling
Uh-oh.
through his TikTok, and because his phone number is in my contact, it somehow links up,
Right.
and there Oliver comes across on his screen, just talking crazy, wild stuff about my job, about my life, and so they call me in, and this is a week after I had that conversation with the
The
with,
90-year-old?
yeah, with a 90-year-old, and this is a week after, and so I come into work, and I had no idea that they knew anything about this,
You
and
had you had to know that might. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't know that I posted it, so I had no idea it had
Oh,
been flying around because I posted
I
it by
see.
accident. And one of the technicians comes up to me. He goes, "Hey, Oliver." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "When are you gonna buy that boat?" I was like, "What boat?" He's like, what do you mean, what boat? When are you gonna buy the boat? I was like, "Dude, what boat?" And then all of a sudden it clicked, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I run to the bathroom and I look at my TikTok and I see it's got like 1,500 views or something.
Oh my.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And so I call my boss and I was like, uh, I was like, "So have you seen the video?" And he was like, "Yeah, everyone's seen the video." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, and this is, and I was like, um, "So am I fired?" And he he was like, "Well, we have to have a meeting about it, but just go back to work. We'll call you at the end of the day and let you know what we decide to do."
Oh my
And
gosh.
I literally was like, "I'll just make it easy for you." And click, and then I just hung up, walked out, left, and then came up with the idea to pull out all of the money out of my 401k to pull it off. So to buy the boat, and then
Right.
so I that was a week after I made the realization I wanted to sail around the world, and after I talked to that guy, and then so yeah, I was unemployed, looking for. I spent the next 30 days straight looking for a boat and like researching. I didn't know anything about boats. You know what I mean? I got lucky that I
Yeah.
got a boat that was not like a
Yeah.
Catalina,
What kind of boat?
but
What kind of boat is it?
it's a
Catalina.
compact. No, it's not a cat. It's a compact 33.
Okay. Oh, good. That's a good size. Okay. We have at least one boat broker on here, so maybe he
Oh,
can weigh
cool.
in on the compact. He's an island packet person like I am,
This
but he
one was
knows a lot
modeled
of boats.
after. This one was modeled after
Yeah.
the Island Packet, but it
Yeah, I
so
think I remember hearing that.
compact primarily makes like dinghy sailors. So they only made 10 of the 33s.
He
Um,
answered. There it is right there on your screen. That
where
is
does
a
it say?
great boat.
Cool,
Congrats.
sweet,
Yeah. He's an expert. He knows.
cool.
Thank you, Hayden. So they're mostly day sailors.
Yeah, they're mostly dinghy sailors is what they make primarily, or trailer sailors. But so they only made 10 of the 33s, and then they added a sugar scoop, and they
Mhm.
now they make the 30. I don't know how many 35s they made, but not a lot. Um, but yeah, it's a good boat. I think it'll get the job done. It was made by Charles Morgan, so
Okay.
um,
Well, it looks
it,
like you've got everything. You've got I can see part of your cabin there. It looks like you've got all the comforts of home, right?
yeah, yes, I love it. I love this life. I love the boat, and it's fun.
And you're in a marina
Yeah.
in Portland?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, all right. So let's see. So the video going viral kind of sped up the process of you quitting your job. And
Yeah.
maybe that was meant to be.
Oh yeah, it was perfect. If that didn't happen, I never would have continued posting on. I never would. I still to this day probably wouldn't have posted on social media. So I wouldn't have the social media account that I have now. I would, and I, who knows what would have happened? Maybe I would have. I was pretty dead set. Like after that conversation with that guy, I was like, oh, I'm sailing around the world. That's gonna happen.
The 9 year
So
old.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Yeah, I think it worked out perfect. Couldn't have worked out better.
Have you been
So
able to reach him? Is he
no, I have
following
no
you?
idea who he is. No
Oh my
idea. It's just a
gosh.
random customer that came in, happened to be wearing a jacket that had a sailboat on it, and
Wow.
yeah. So
Okay, so my next question is, what has been the most challenging part of transitioning from a regular job to living on a sailboat? And I think you
uh,
said you've got a little job now.
yeah,
And
I've got a job just for the refit for the boat. So I do
yeah,
work 40 hours, but I was working like 70-hour weeks.
right.
So the difference is I feel like every day is a day off. So I um,
Every
yeah,
day's a
so
day off.
it feels like
Wow.
it compared to there was a 3 month period last year where I would show up to work at like 6:30 a.m. and for 3 months straight I wouldn't walk in through my front door until 10:30 p.m. And I was just like, you can't live. Well, that's not living.
I hope you
So
were making some pretty good money. You were able to sock
I
some
was
of it
making
away.
good money.
Yeah.
I didn't stash any of it away. No, I was
Oh,
very bad
okay.
with money, and I was just super depressed too. So like I was literally just
Right.
partying on the weekends just to like feel something.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, it was not a good period in my life, but it got me to where I am today, which I haven't done anything. I haven't done much, but I will for sure.
Well, Fresh to Salty has a comment here for you, and this is what they actually said on the podcast. Their only regret is that they had not done it 20 years or 10 years, I think they said on the. But see the on the screen right there in front of you.
Oh
We will
yeah, I
we
gotta
will
zoom
never
out.
regret that decision.
Cool.
But they wish they had done
Thank
it
you.
earlier. But they're out there now.
Yeah,
They're
good.
doing it. Yeah. Um. Let's see. So you've got a 40-hour a week. So you're working half the time, and you're working for the refit. It's a little bit better experience for you. You feel like every day's a day off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like a hop, step, and a skip away from getting fired every single day I show up.
That's what you said. I
Because
noticed you said that. That was fun.
I literally do not do my job. I all I do. So well,
I hope
that's
they
what
don't see this.
whatever. I mean, I'll figure. If I get fired, it's not the end of the world. I'll figure. So I get it. I could refit the boat, flipping burgers at McDonald's if I had to. So
Uh,
there's always gonna be a solution. But um, yeah, I literally do not do. And so I'm selling tires again, but I'm like contracted through a dealership to sell tires. So I don't have any bosses or anything there. I just have to meet like a quota. And I literally do not sell any tires at all. I show up and I sit down, I open my phone, and I just start editing videos the entire time I'm there. And it's really bad. I can't believe I've lasted this long. But
well, I hope your bosses or your people who order tires from you are
yeah,
supposed to don't see this.
yeah,
um,
that's all right.
but so, what are you doing to the boat? What all do you have to do before you're ready to
So,
circumnavigate?
so what I have left is so I just put down the deposit for the hydro vane, and I've spent the last 2 weeks and then this next 2 weeks just not eating food or anything, and and just stacking the paychecks. So by the end of next week, I should have enough money to pay the rest of the hydro vane off, and then so I should have that by like early next year. And then I need a whole new anchor system, which is still in like still in I'm still figuring. I haven't thought too far ahead about it, but I need a bigger windlass, and also my anchor locker is super strange where like it's a tiny anchor locker and it's divided down the middle, and so I've only got 150 feet, so I've got 50 feet of chain right now, of half-inch
Oh,
chain.
that's not very much.
Yeah, and then 100 feet of road, and that's all that fits in that anchor locker, which is the crazy part. So I can't add
Yeah,
anything else in there. So I'm just gonna leave that system as it is and just have it as a backup or like a lazy anchor, or whatever, and then put a manual windlass further back
yeah,
and a piece of stainless steel tubing that will go down into my one of my uh, it'll go down into my I've got like a dresser there, and
yeah.
underneath the dresser is this giant cavern that has
Okay, you're
literally
gonna
nothing
make that
there.
like an anchor
Yeah, that'll be
um,
my
locker.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now,
So
now, Island Spirit says hydrovane is great. We have an island packet that sailed around the world, meaning in the fleet. He runs the Facebook page for Island Packets, and he also
oh cool.
says he has a recommendation: the Rockna anchor and all chain. Is that what you're recommending, Hayden? And then I have my friend, hey Tinsley. So I got someone, hey Franny. So yeah, so it looks like I don't know if you've chosen the type of anchor you're getting.
I haven't. I've literally every single part of this journey. Like I pretty much take it one step at a time. Like it's hydrovane right now, and as soon as the hydrovane done, I will. Everything is going to get taken. I mean, I've thought about it and stuff, and I've heard people say go all chain. I've heard people say go 200 foot of chain and whatever. It gets all so confusing. And so, but when I'm ready to do it, that's when I'm going to really dive
And you'll
in and
lock into it. Sure.
find out the information. Otherwise, you discourage
There's
yourself
lots of
or you just go
opinions.
insane. Yeah. So
Yeah.
when it comes, I'll deal with it.
Sure. But for the record, Hayden's saying rock anchor and all chain. So
All chain, cool.
yeah, that's what he's saying. Okay, so you've got your anchor system. You're going to get a windlass. You're going to get you're going to make a locker that so it'll hold more chain, and you're going to create a way for the chain to get down in there. And anything else you're going to need to get on the boat? Do you have a water maker or anything?
No, I don't have. I'll maybe do that at some point, but not right now.
It's not a priority.
No. I mean, I can always just, I don't know, fill the cabin up with water bottles if I had to, you know.
Yeah, if it's just you and the cat, so
Yeah.
and do a
What
water
else?
catcher. You can do a water catcher.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are cool.
Okay.
But the standing rigging is from everyone I've had come look at it has said it looks fine. Like I've had some like salty sailors come check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no
Yeah.
idea if their opinions are good or whatever, but
Right.
everyone has said it looks fine. But I don't know. I'm gonna get a rigger to check it out ultimately.
Absolutely, because the boat's going to take a lot of stress if you're offshore for long periods of time.
So I think
it's worth the money. It's not that much money, you know,
yeah,
to get it
it's
inspected.
not as much as I thought. Well, even
No.
replacing it, it's if you do it yourself, it's not as much as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, my plan is to, after the anchor system is all, you know, I get that situated, I'm gonna move to the coast here at Astoria because it's way cheaper to have the boat there, and then I could also live on the boat on the hard, and they have a crane there too, so I can replace the standing rigging myself there, and so that will be like the last stage right before I leave.
Right. And then even then I would, if it was me, I would after you do it, get a rigger to come in and do an inspection just to make sure you didn't miss anything. Since you're probably not an expert rigger, right?
No, I'm like the dumbest guy to ever do any of this.
No, I think it's admirable that but as a safety precaution, I would recommend, because I do it every time I take the boat south from Gulf Shores, Alabama, Orange Beach, Alabama to the Keys. Before I go, I have someone inspect it. And when I get back, I have someone inspect it, because if you lose a mast, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a real bummer.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean, it'll mess up your boat, you know?
Yeah.
So Hayden says, what is your route you want to run? Where will you start? And I take it you're going to be starting from, I don't know, it would be Portland or where?
Yeah, the coast of Oregon.
The coast of Oregon.
Yeah, so as far as the route, I haven't thought about it. I know, so I told myself a long time ago that I wanted to sail to Hawaii, and that I was going to sail to Hawaii, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sail to Hawaii first, and I want to do that. And I know it's not like the best destination from what people say, from best destination for like cruisers and stuff, and it could be hard to stay there. I'm literally just going to like go there and show up and see what happens and go from there.
Have you thought about maybe doing the Caribbean first and kind of?
Yeah, I want to do the thing that I said I was going to do first.
Okay.
The Caribbean is a way better option, you know. It's
just,
way
you know, if
nicer too, but
there's lots of places for you. If you mess up, you can get things fixed, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to go.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to discourage you on anything, but I've had some people on the podcast that talked about that route going south down to Cabo and further south. So there's some fascinating places down there that I would like to pick up my boat and put it over there.
Yeah.
And kind of sail around Cabo and all that. That sounds just beautiful. That whole west coast of Mexico, and then what is it? Honduras after that? Okay, someone has some here. Okay, Hayden says your first shakedown could be down the coast of Mexico. That would be great. It also is down current. Okay.
Yeah,
There
that would
we
be
got.
cool. I mean, I've thought about it. Like, it's just I just want to do the thing I said first, um, and I like the idea of it being my first passage. I think that's cool.
What, to
So
go to Hawaii?
yeah,
Well, I'm a little worried about that,
yeah,
Oliver.
yeah, that's
That's a
fine.
long way, you know.
I know.
Like if
Yeah,
something goes wrong, but if you go all the way from down the west coast and go to
I,
Mexico, then you can probably do like Hayden was saying. You know, the
yeah.
problems will come out before then.
It could change too, because like I think I'll get because the next window to leave for me where that would make sense to go to Hawaii would be next April,
Hmm.
in 2025. So I'll probably be done with. I'll definitely be done with the outfit before then. So I'll
Yeah,
probably go. You know, I was thinking about going to Mexico or starting to head that direction.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. Nothing's really written in concrete, but I
yeah,
just
yeah.
I do like the idea.
Well, Fresh to Salty says speak with Chris Wilcher, the yacht rigger for rigging. They're a wholesale company, and so I think she's talking about the yacht rigger out of St. Petersburg. That's I've used them. They're kind of on my way to the Keys. You know, they're like in Central Florida on the West Coast, but I think they do some shipping, and I think that's what they're talking about there. Like if you need rigging, they'll ship it to you. They ship
Oh,
all
cool.
over. Yeah. Let's see. Um, how did you? Oh wait, we got one more here from Hayden. Mexico to Hawaii or Mexico to the South Pacific? It's all fun to plan and work towards. Congrats to you. Yeah, it
Thank
is
you.
kind of fun. Yeah.
Sorry,
Um,
excuse me.
so how did you choose the compact?
Just impulsiveness, and it was
I love your honesty.
it was it is what I can't. It is what it is. I can't hide
Right.
my lack of
Yeah.
planning and knowledge, and which is fine. It's
I
part of the
love it.
fun. I got
Right.
lucky with the compact too. That it's not the perfect boat. It doesn't have a protected rudder, um, but I certainly could have made a much more mistakes when it came to buying a boat. Like I didn't know anything about it. I crammed as much knowledge into my head as I could within the month of looking for a boat. And I only had about a month because I had just offloaded everything, sold everything, and I was paying $2,500 in rent continuously. And I was like, how many times can you pay $2,500 a month until you're out of, the money? So, or
Oh,
you
wait, is that
obviously,
for your apartment or something?
yeah, my
Your
apartment
sorry,
was
yeah. Okay.
2,500. So I was
You
on a bit of a time
you
crunch.
needed to get the boat. Yeah.
I needed to get a boat, and so I looked at a bunch of boats. I researched and called on I don't know, like 100 boats, and I looked at probably like 40 boats, 40 or 50, and went up to Seattle. I was thinking about buying a boat from having a captain sail a boat over from
Yeah.
California, and I I spoke to this one broker, and he was like, this guy was like a full, I can't remember like his name. I wouldn't say his name, but he's like a full blown like alcoholic.
Oh
and
no.
uh he was like, listen to me. I was like, okay. He was like, everyone's gonna tell you this and all the
Yeah.
data and all the information and what boat to buy and all that. All that's bullshit. He's like, it's just
Okay.
terrible advice. So don't take my advice or his advice. It's bad advice. But uh he was like, don't listen to any of that. It's all bullshit. A boat's a boat, and you buy the boat when you step on the boat and it talks to you. That's when you buy the boat. And I was like, all
Okay.
right.
Well,
and
I think that's true. I think you get a
yeah,
feeling. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. So I got on this boat, and I was like, this is, and I looked at so I looked at what 50 boats. 49 of them were piles of shit. So it makes
Oh,
sense that I stepped on this boat, and I was like, all right, this is the one. And
well, good.
it was super convenient too because it was actually like literally a 30-minute drive away from where I had currently lived.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to spend $6,000 to have somebody sail it over, and then get a sacrifice
Right.
the money for the boat. Um,
Sure.
so yeah, I overpaid for it for sure, and uh, but I like it. I love the boat.
Okay, here Hayden has another comment here. So true. Boats have a feeling. They do have a personality. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
So there's a lot of people that are doing just like they took some sailing lessons on the Great Lakes, bought a boat over the phone or online in Florida, and they went down and they sailed the Caribbean. I mean, it
Yeah,
happens all the time. I mean, I think it's
yeah.
great. I think you're doing just the right amount of planning.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I think so too. Otherwise, because I tried to do this before when I first found out about my neck, and I planned so far. I started thinking so far ahead, to and thinking of issues that haven't even happened yet or may never happen, and I just
Yeah.
completely discouraged myself
Then
from
you
it.
just will never do anything if you stay
Exactly.
on
So I
that track.
learned
Yeah.
it's what's next. It's the hydro vein is next. Get the hydro vein. All right.
Right.
Then you what's next? Anchor system. You know. I still have not taken any sailing lessons. I've got on the boat. I replaced it the standing rigging, and
Mhm.
I watched like a couple YouTube videos, and I took the boat out by myself
Thank you,
or with
Marion.
a couple of friends, and just started sailing up the Columbia River here. And knock on wood, I still haven't hit any docks or I'm not a real sailor yet because I haven't ran aground yet. So and I'm not
Yeah,
water.
exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so I did take lessons before I got the boat, and I think it was good. I really learned this how to adjust the sails after I was just out there by myself for days on end. That's when but the lessons all did like things would come back to me when something would come up, and because of the lessons, I think they're valuable. So even if you had like a friend to take you out and say,
well, what I've
here's
been doing that's what's taught me the most is one of my neighbors does we every Sunday we do races here
uh-huh.
and he has a
Oh
racing
yeah.
boat and so I'm crew on his boat every Sunday
Perfect.
and he
But
always has people on that have been sailing for like 40 or 50 years so like I just being around that is where I pick up on the verbiage and I pick up on how to sail really so
yeah,
that's where I've learned the most.
that's perfect. I've heard a lot of people doing it that way too. They just really fine
Cheap
tune their skills.
doesn't cost me. That's the reason I didn't take the classes because they're super expensive.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You don't want to get into your your money to fix the boat.
yeah,
Okay, so we we kind of talked about there's any specific destinations you're excited about um as your plan for your circumnavigation. So your first one that you mentioned that you really want to do is Hawaii. Whether you take a detour down to Mexico first, that's you're gonna decide that later.
yeah. I
Uh
think from Hawaii you'd go to like French Polynesia,
yeah, I think you
which
go south, right?
that would be yeah. I think so. I think that would be uh really cool.
So fresh to salty says the sailing part is easy. It's the passage planning and weather routing. At least
Yeah,
that's what we found.
yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Yeah,
Make sure you've got the weather's important. Having enough
yeah.
food and water is important. You know. Um, okay. What lessons or skills have you learned since embarking on this journey that you never anticipated needing?
That I never anticipated needing. Embarking
Yeah.
on this journey.
Anything come
Um,
up that you're like, oh, maybe, maybe the rigging.
I think it's like how incredibly kind the like sailing community is. Like I
Ah,
didn't
yeah.
know that was going to be the case at all,
Mm,
and I didn't
yeah.
know that I would have needed it. You know what I mean? Like I get
Yeah.
so much knowledge from all of my sailing neighbors, and even like but say 50% of the people that follow me on social media are sailors, and
Yeah.
so I now post a video of me doing something that like a seasoned sailor will watch and be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
and
I've
then
had
I
that
learned from
too.
that's
Yeah.
how I learned.
Like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been I guess that's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've been on one of my trips and I needed help with something and just people come out of the woodwork to help out. It's really, they're very generous with their time and their knowledge. I have found
Yeah,
that to be.
it's been really cool.
So, how has your definition of success changed since you left your regular job, your corporate
My
job,
definition
for
of
this
success.
for this new
Uh,
lifestyle?
uh, I just think like it's my I don't know, my definition of success is like life. I don't know, we live in a time that like is such an amazing time to live, contrary to what I think a lot of people think and what we see going on in the world. We're very fortunate to live in the time that we live in, and I just plan on taking absolutely full advantage of it. Not up until very recently could some like dude, random dude, buy a sailboat to try and sail around the world. Like that's crazy. And I to me, like, life has so much to offer, and finding out exactly what that looks like is my definition of success. Like I want to see everything in the world. Like I want to see everything, and I want to. I don't know. That's hopefully that answers the question.
Well, something was motivating you to work 70 hours a week, so something changed.
Yeah, well, at the time, like it was my neck. My neck was it like threw life in my face, and it was like, uh,
Okay. Your
it was.
immortality showed up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
literally
Okay.
had been bulletproof, made of steel my entire life. This is how like my brain worked, and I was like, can't be hurt, can't be touched, and then you go to the doctor, and they're like, oh yeah, you you should be careful driving. Like you can't.
Oh,
There's a list of things that I can't do because I'm at risk of full paralysis. So if I get in like a fender bender, I would be in trouble. And I know sailing obviously is, it can
it
get
can get
crazy.
rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And that's just part of the risk, I guess. And I'm willing to take it because I'm chasing my dreams.
What do your
So,
parents think?
they're supportive, super supportive.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, really supportive. My dad is like the smartest. It's super corny to say because it's my dad, but he's like the smartest person I've ever met in my entire life. So he's
Oh,
been
that's good
helping
to
me
feel
a,
about.
a ton.
Oh,
So
really? Is he handy?
yeah, he used to have a sailboat, and he used to live on a sailboat
Oh,
as
okay.
well. So I was super young, so I didn't like. I didn't appreciate the fact that he had us, that we would go on the sailboat and we'd go sailing around and stuff, and none of the knowledge transferred over. I was really young, so, but
Yeah.
he's familiar with boats and he's very smart, so it just kind of like works out really good.
Does he still have a boat?
He does, yeah. He has a 27 Capri, I think,
Okay.
like the
Is he
Catalina.
watching right now? Is he watching?
Oh no, I don't know. I don't think so.
I was going to say he should comment. We'll
Yeah,
bring his comment out.
yeah.
So yeah, you're going to have to be careful with the neck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like,
Travel in light winds, light waves.
yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna just go for it. And it's one of those things where I don't think about it that much. It's like it's a negative thought that I don't need to think. I could nothing.
Okay.
I could go the rest of my life not having an issue. You know what I mean?
Okay. Right.
And so like, what's the point in thinking too hard about it or thinking too
Right.
much on it when it's there's no right now. I'm physically capable of doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know?
And you have your little friend, the kitty. What's the kitty's name?
Yeah. So I named the boat after her. It's Phoenix.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Let's see. What advice would you give to someone considering a similar leap into the unknown? We kind of touched on that, but
Yeah. I mean, just like uh, basically with that guy, like, what are you doing now? You know what I mean? Why are you still where you are? And like, don't think too far ahead, and don't discourage yourself. I think, like me, I've my whole life I've always been very hard on myself, and I've always told myself I couldn't. I'm not like smart enough, or I can't do certain things. Um, when none of that is true. Like I've surprised myself every single step of this way. Uh, uh, in my, in my abilities to do this. Like I surprise myself every day.
That's awesome. It's
Um,
great for your self-esteem.
yeah, of course, it builds confidence in me, yeah, don't think too far ahead, and you can definitely do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So you can definitely do it.
I have definitely found that too, that it definitely builds self-confidence. There's nothing like and I'm a solo sailor like you, and there's just something about it, and I figure more out, like, especially when I was new, when I'm by myself, because
Yeah,
nobody's chatting in my
yeah,
ear.
right. You're paying
And
attention. Yeah,
like, if someone's there, they'll go, "What are you going to do now?" And you're like, "I don't know. I'm just going to
yeah,
figure it out." And when you're by
yeah,
yourself, you just do it. And you try
yeah,
different things, and then all of a sudden it's the right thing, and you don't really have to have words for it. Hayden says maybe a neck brace when offshore.
yeah,
Like, if it starts getting rough, go ahead and put it on.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
So, but yeah, I really like what you said about the confidence builder. Um, so you would recommend someone to follow the dreams, whatever it is.
yeah. Go for it. I mean, why? Like, what's the point in we live in such an amazing time, you know what I mean, where we can do this, we can chase our dreams, and there's no rules, like this. I always thought there was these rules, and
Right.
you have to buy a house, you have to have the girlfriend, you have to have the car, you have to have all these things. All of that is bullshit. All of it is bullshit.
You might pick up a
There's
girlfriend along the way.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't thought about it. But uh there's no rules, and I like a lot of a lot of it too is like a lot of what was preventing me from taking that next step was like ego, and the fear of like who's going to want to date a guy that lives on a bum that lives on a boat with no money. I have no money. And
Yeah.
and all of that. I'm never going to have a car, I'm not going to have a nice car, I'm not going to have all these things. As soon as I accepted that is not what living is,
Yeah.
well, my life became just rainbows and butterflies, So yeah, all that's
How did
bullshit.
it feel to offload all that stuff?
Felt really good. Felt like what quitting my job, because I had a like a really intense job with really high demands, and literally quitting that job, it felt like I lifted out off 1,000 pound dumbbells off my shoulders, and I like floated away.
And then
And
you
it
had
was
to stop the other expenses. And
Yeah.
so
So
yeah, it
yeah, I
sounds
got
very
rid of all
freeing.
that stuff. It's been great. My overhead is the marina, like my marina. Like if
How
I
much
did
is it
it,
there? You said it was more expensive towards the coast.
it's less expensive towards the coast where I would be going. But here it's cheap in comparison. I think a lot of other places. So, but mine's like 450. At
That's not
first it
bad.
was no. At first it was like 280 because I didn't tell them I was living on the boat. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, it
I
makes a
rode
difference.
that wave
Yeah.
for like 4 or 5 months, and I didn't know with the key fob thing they've got a tracker on it, and they're like, "You've
Yeah.
been on the boat
And
every single day," and
yeah,
I'm
and
like,
they'll
"Well, I'm
say you're
outfitting the
using
boat."
more water and more electricity and,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Hayden says, "I love your outlook, your optimistic viewpoint, your plan. You will make this work. Congrats." That's
Thank you.
awesome, Hayden. I love
Yeah,
having
that's
him
really
on
cool.
here. And then Bruce Williams says a girlfriend and a sailboat. So I think he's encouraging you to, if it happens.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I'm not looking, but I'm not, um, like, yeah, whatever, if it happens, then it happens.
yeah.
So,
So are you going to try to support yourself through social media?
yeah, that's the goal. It's so like the crazy thing is, like, I knew nothing about sailing, nothing about social media, and
Yeah.
both of these things I've been like going as
Building,
hard
learning
as,
it. Yeah.
yeah, and it's been chaos and trying to figure all of it out. Because I have no life. Like, I don't sleep. I don't. I barely eat. I work a 40-hour work week job. I spend 40 hours a week making videos. Spend 40 hours a week working on the boat. Spend 40 hours a week sailing, and
Wait
I
a
have
minute. I think you
zero
ran
time.
out.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm inventing hours for the week,
Yeah,
and
it's a
but
lot to do the videos. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
are you mostly on Instagram, or are you also on?
I'm on TikTok as well. It's just, and I
Okay.
post the same things on TikTok. It's just TikTok
Right.
hasn't
I do
moved.
that.
So,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
um, yeah, I figured it out, and I'm just gonna keep getting better at sailing, better at videos, continue to outfit the boat, and then yeah, that's the goal. I have no idea. That wasn't the original goal. It's recently become the goal. The
Okay.
original goal is just like, I don't know, like I didn't really have a plan. Like just, get to Hawaii and see if I could stay there for until they kick me out and work as like a bartender or something, and
Yeah.
just not eat again and save money for the next passage.
Well, if you develop these skills, like how to climb up which you have, I've seen you do it in your videos, how to climb up the mast. You can do that for people and barter
Yeah,
because not
right.
everybody wants. There's a lot of older cruisers, and they don't want to climb up the mast.
Yeah, or clean the bottom. There's odd jobs you can do, and or I could even get like a sewing machine on here. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
there are options, and maybe you do it all. I don't know,
Yes.
but
Bruce
but
says deep
ideally,
thinking at Pirates Cove Marina. It'll all work out. So that Bruce, you're he's local. He's here at Pirates Cove Marina in Orange
oh, cool.
Beach. Right, Bruce. Tell me that that's right. Um, so yeah, is it people that can cut hair or fix things? They can usually trade services. You can trade for food.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can trade.
I could go panhandle if I had to.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully, it won't come to that. But
Yeah.
um, looking ahead, what do you hope to achieve or experience during your circumnavigation? How do you see this journey shaping your future? So you think it's just going to be a forever thing? You said that maybe you would
Yeah.
never own a car again. I mean, who knows?
Not. I have a car now, but yeah, I'm never living on land again. This is it. Like it's
That's
just
quite a
that like
commitment.
I've
That's
never
awesome.
I've never in my entire life been more certain about something. Um, and this is it. This is like my purpose. This is why I
Love
was
it.
here. This is what I want to do. This is it. This is the end game. I figured I have complete and uh, pure like purpose. You know what I mean? Like this is it. So yeah,
Wow. Very few people have that
I know
sense of commitment like that.
it took me so long to like find it and figure it out, but yeah, it feels very good to know that this is it. This is all I want to do, and I'm super excited to see. It's I think really important to like enjoy just the process of this whole thing, and like and just enjoy like the other day I got to sail. I sailed up to the up the Columbia River here and saw Mama Falls. Like saw these giant waterfalls from my boat at anchor, and and it's like fall and the trees look nuts. You know what I mean? And it's my backyard, but like that's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, Hayden says TikTok and YouTube, number one, build the followers, and step two, monetize followers over to Patreon, then just keep producing the vids and build the followers. I've watched this happen over the past 15 years, and that's what I'm trying to do too. I mean, my dream, I'm a real estate agent, so I make pretty good money at that, but maybe one day I don't have to ever totally retire. But I would like to be able to sail the Caribbean and do the podcast and interview people. That just would be endless material,
Yeah,
just
right.
that
That'd
would
be
just
really cool.
be so
Yeah.
awesome, just going around
Yeah.
meeting sailors, and
Yeah.
so but it does take time. And let's see, we got Bruce saying, yes, the Bay Magnolia smell great anchored at the inlet. Not sure what that is. I think there's a later. Um, I don't understand, Bruce. Okay, and here's fresh to salty. It's always great watching people start their journey. Sailing is a great leveler, and it doesn't matter the background. It's amazing to watch. That's true. Everybody
Yeah.
does become like doesn't matter,
It's an even
how
playing
much
field.
money you
Yeah.
made. Yeah, it's people are interested.
If
Sailors are
so,
interested in sailors.
I feel like the
It's true.
smaller the boat, the better. Like the less money, I couldn't imagine trying to sail around the world in $1 million sailboat. Like that would
Well,
be,
more stuff to
it's
break.
a lot of work too. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think if anything, I've got the advantage.
Thank you, Hayden. He says, yeah, he likes my goal on that. And my friend Jennifer's on here. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for tuning in. This is my therapy, Jennifer. She knows what I've been going through. But yeah, there's a book called I call it the Bible because it's the book that I read before I even bought a book. I found his information on a website and then it disappeared, and I thought, well, maybe he has a book, and that was the reason I read that. It's called um, BYOB, Bring Your Own Boat, and
Oh yeah.
Caribbean island hopping, and it's Captain John, I think, and he talks about it's not about all the expensive stuff on a boat. Actually, he says it's kind of uncool to be the boat with all the fancy stuff.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
what are you
agree.
trying too hard, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
People would come up to him because they knew he wrote books. That's how he supported himself, and he sailed around. And they'd say, "Hey, can you come help me run all this stuff? I don't know how to." He goes, "I don't know how to do all. I don't have all that. I don't need all
yeah,
that." So, but it's true because I have a lot of stuff on my boat, and things break, and I'm not a mechanic.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
do you have solar?
Not yet. That's coming up. So I just installed all new lithium batteries.
Oh,
And
nice.
but I was gonna do the solar at the same time just to do all the electronics at the same time. But I got like a bonus at work, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy this hydro vane, and just because it's the biggest ticket item, And so if I can get that behind me, then I really am
How much does
just
that
about
something like
free and
that
clear.
cost?
It's 7,000.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Ouch.
I know. I figured to go with the hydro vane though, because I think it'll work. From talking to people, it seems like it would work best for my boat, and it just seems like a really good company. And it's also like I don't have to worry about it being like discontinued. There's always going to be parts available for it. So I don't know. And my rudder is I've got a shitty rudder. So I'll have the hydro vane for my backup rudder as well. And they make it's like a super strong rudder that stands up to orca bites, I guess. So,
Well, and it
but
seems like it would maybe, and somebody else can tell me if this is right, Hayden. It seems like it might break less. It'd be easier
I
to
don't know.
fix if it does. I
It would
mean,
be
rather than an
easier to get parts
autopilot.
for sure. I think.
An autopilot is, run by
Oh yeah,
electricity,
yeah.
and it has a. I don't know what the parts are for a hydro, but Hayden can tell me if I'm on track with that. Fresh to Salty says, "Hurry up and come to the Exumas." I think they're saying that to me. I would like to do that. And Island Spirit, Hayden, yeah, the hydrovane is fantastic. If you do decide to do the Caribbean, I've done 3 videos with Island Spirit, and the last 2 have been provisioning for the Bahamas was one, and then the other one was their route from Florida to through
Cool.
the Caribbean, and he gives all kinds of good secrets and tips and tricks and everything. So he's got it mapped out to 2 routes to get into the Bahamas, um, 2 different routes. So yeah,
Cool.
I definitely want to do that soon. But well, is there anything else that you want to ask people? Want to tell them how to reach you and everything?
Oh yeah, maybe I'm on Instagram, TikTok, sailing with Phoenix. Phoenix is my cat, and
And
yeah,
the name of
I
your
don't know.
boat.
Yeah, the name of my boat as well. Yeah, I mean that's about. I don't know. You can follow me, whatever. I'm gonna
Yeah,
just try
everybody
and
give him a follow. He's trying to build up his followers and hopefully someday maybe get a little income from it, right?
yeah, that would be the goal ultimately. I mean, that would be the dream,
Yeah,
'cause then I could really, um, be really self-sufficient. I think, and I'm gonna do it. I'm very very I'm a very committed person, and so
sounds
I've got
like it.
my eyes set, and I'm just gonna keep going. Like I know one thing. I don't know when things are gonna work out. I don't know any of that, but all I know is I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep outfitting the boat.
I
I'm gonna
love
keep
it.
doing social media. I'm just gonna keep going, and it might
Yeah,
not be in a year, it might not be in 2 years, but who knows? Maybe in 5 years. If I post every single day, I've only been posting for like social media for 7 months.
right.
Imagine if I continue to post every day for 5 years. 5 years is nothing. So,
Right. I know you're 28. 5 years, you're
yeah,
33.
yeah.
You're still a
So,
young man.
yeah,
But hopefully you'll be able to leave the West Coast. I mean, leave
yeah. So,
Oregon soon, but like by next spring,
yeah, April, yeah,
April.
2025, yeah, is when I'll leave for
Well,
Hawaii at least. But who knows what things aren't super written in concrete, so I might, if it, I don't know, if I get fired tomorrow and I have to go work at McDonald's, I might just leave in April.
that's
But
good that
if
you're
I,
flexible just in case.
yeah, you have to be,
Well, in the
because
meantime,
that's yeah,
did you get your official boat number, your number, and
yeah,
your all those things you need to be international, and your passport and your passport for the boat, um,
yeah. I've got
which is
uh, two European passports. I've got a Portuguese and a British passport as well because
oh,
my dad is British, my mom's Portuguese.
okay.
So that's cool.
So you're all set for the
Yeah,
so you get the boat has to be registered
yeah. I haven't. Wait, the boat is registered. Yeah.
for I mean the official help me out here, Hayden. Because the registration, the official registration for the boat, the national, I guess it's national. It's with the federal government is like the passport for the boat. Hope I'm
Okay.
telling that right.
I don't know.
Did
I'm pretty sure it's
well,
registered. What do you
is it
do?
a it
What website
it?
is
Well, I'm registered
it?
with the state of Alabama, but I'm also registered with the what and he can jump in and get me. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay. He said he's subscribing to you. The
Cool.
Coast Guard registration, the U.S. Coast Guard registration, the
U.S.
national. Yeah, that you get it registered with an official number, and that's like the passport USC documentation. USCG, thank you. He said, I was stumbling over that. And then Fresh and Salty saying, yeah, get it registered. So that is, you go to their website and you register with an official number. I don't know, it may already have one.
Is it
Um,
for? It's not like.
Not a
What's the
state
website?
registration.
Okay.
Just in fact, I will text it to you because I
Okay.
can send you a link, and
Okay.
you
Cool.
reg
Figure it out.
and it when when I bought this boat, it did not have an official number, and I thought I was going to do it myself. And these government websites are about as clear as
Is it like
mud.
the MMSI number?
No, that is a radio.
Okay. It's
That's the
different.
radio. So
I got that.
it's you if oh here's my friend who's not even a boat owner just googled it right there. Register a boat for international travel. There we go.
Cool.
But when you have the official number with the U.S. Coast Guard, it's like the passport for the boat.
Okay. That's good to
So
know. What would have happened if
yeah,
I didn't?
I don't know what would happen because
Probably
I
would have been
went to the
fine.
Bahamas. Yeah, well, no, I don't know.
What are they going to tell me to
I
do?
think you
Turn
need
around?
to.
I
See,
don't know.
we've got some people on here that are traveling international. Either they're about to, or they've been doing it,
Yeah.
so they could. It's tied to the whole number. Okay,
Tied to the whole number.
but that's what I was told is that you need that because that's like you got your passport for you, and the official numbers like the pass is registered with the United States Coast Guard. That's like the passport for the boat,
Cool. That's good to
and
know.
I guess it gives you credibility when you go into another country when it's
Okay.
registered with the U.S. Coast Guard.
Yeah. I mean, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, and I will send you a link, and it does take a little bit of and I ended up paying someone to do it because I was like these instructions stink,
Yeah.
they're like if this did that, and it was like I was
The,
so confused by the time I read it.
even the MMSI number took me like forever to figure out.
I
But
have that too. Yeah. And so Tim Lynn says he sent me a link here too. So I'll send that to you. There it is. USCG certificate of documentation. And there's the link right there. I'll
oh,
send that
cool.
to you.
Thank you.
So yeah, so you got plenty of time. It takes a little time. So you got time to go ahead and do it now.
Yeah,
So
that's good to know.
hopefully you learned something new here
Yeah,
on
I
the
did.
Salty
Yeah.
Podcast.
Yeah.
But Jennifer says, learn something new every day. Yep, absolutely. I couldn't get the words out, but all these people they jumped in and sent me links and everything. I'll send you these links and you can get
Okay.
the process started.
Cool.
And I finally, and you may not want to do this because you're kind of limited on money. I was finally just said, I'm paying somebody $400 to do this because
Yeah.
the instructions were ridiculous on you know how government instructions
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
This is supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you'll figure it out. Okay, well, I guess that's it. And can we follow up with you and on your journey
Yeah.
and see where you are and everything?
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna keep posting, and just, I don't know, if you're following me, strap in. It might get a little
yeah.
cringy here and there, but
Well, maybe
I'm
right
big.
before you leave, we can follow up and say, okay, tell us what you
Yeah.
did and you're about to leave. What's your plan now? Because it could change between now and then.
Yeah.
And
That'd be cool.
and we'll just catch up with you, and I'm sure you'll get some more subscribers from you doing the podcast. So thank you so much. It
Cool.
helped
Yeah.
me
Thanks for
tonight.
having me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and the way I always go out is Salty Abandon out.